Air, water, and life have long coexisted on Earth. Wherever there was convenient access to water, people gathered and eventually cities were formed. Water nurtures and sustains all forms of life. And as long as human beings respected nature, air and water were never polluted. However, increases in population, changes in lifestyles, and the development of industry brought pollution at levels greatly exceeding nature's own purifying power, resulting in worsening water pollution. Water pollution, a problem caused by human beings, must be resolved by human beings. In the past, people used water from springs and rivers for drinking and household use. Then waterways were built so that water could be used for various other purposes. However, water supplied by waterways became muddy when flooding occurred upstream and gradually became polluted by household wastewater. To resolve this problem, reservoirs and dams were built, and water purification plants were constructed to supply clean water to every household. Meanwhile, however, water pollution caused by industry began to surface. According to records in Japan, more than 110 years ago, in 1878, damage was caused by wastewater from a copper mine in Tochigi Prefecture. During the period of industrial reconstruction after World War II, the fishing industry was damaged by polluted water from a paper mill in Tokyo, and from around 1955, organic mercury contained in industrial wastewater in Kumamoto Prefecture began to pose problems. In the 1960s, along with rapid economic growth, water pollution began to spread even further and became increasingly serious. Mercury contamination was also reported in Niigata Prefecture, and water was polluted by cadmium in Toyama Prefecture. In Yokkaichi too, wastewater from a petrochemical complex polluted Ise Bay. While water pollution by industrial wastewater was resolved with advances in technology, in urban areas, due to delayed construction of social infrastructure, such as sewerage systems, water pollution rapidly progressed. The Water Supply Law is a law protecting water sources and clean water. In 1890, the Water Service Ordinance, Japan's first law related to water service, was enacted. In 1957, after a review of the Water Service Ordinance for deficiencies, the Water Supply Law was enacted to replace it. The Water Supply Law aims at systematic construction of waterworks to supply clean and abundant water at low cost and improve public health and the living environment. The Water Supply Law conserved the quality of service water. During the post-war industrial growth period, however, water pollution caused by industrial waste became prevalent. As there were no laws to prevent water pollution, local governments had to establish ordinances on their own. take countermeasures and tackle the situation by agreements on environmental pollution control with enterprises. However, as water pollution became nationwide in scale, in 1958, the government enacted 2 water quality laws: the Water Quality Preservation Law for preserving public water bodies and the Industrial Effluent Water Law for controlling industrial wastewater. Target areas were limited and the regulations lacked thoroughness. However, so water pollution continued to spread. In the 1960s, pollution became a problem throughout the country, leading to demand for tightened regulations. In 1967, the government enacted the Basic Law for Environmental Pollution Control and set out to promote anti-pollution measures in a comprehensive manner. This law stipulates standards for protecting human health and the living environment as regards air pollution, water pollution, soil contamination, and noise pollution. The Basic Law indicates the aim and direction of national and local governmental activity in implementing measures for pollution prevention. In November 1993, the Basic Environmental Law was enacted. This law, presenting new global-scale environmental conservation measures, completely revised the Basic Law for Environmental Measures and the Law for Conservation of Natural Environment, which until then had been the pillars of environmental measures. The Basic Environmental Law specifies 2 standards for water pollution. First, the standards related to the protection of human health comprise 23 provisions on cyanide, total mercury levels, and so on, which must be immediately achieved and maintained in all public water bodies. Second, the standards related to the preservation of the living environment classify different types of water areas, rivers, lakes, and sea, include provisions on BOD, COD, pH, and so on, and provide for attaining and maintaining the prescribed standards. Now, let's take a look at laws to prevent water pollution. These are the laws regarding the prevention of water pollution in rivers, lakes, marshes, and sea areas. These are the laws regarding the prevention of water pollution in sewerage and private sewerage system. The Water Pollution Control Law is a system for controlling wastewater in all public water bodies. The basic concepts of water pollution control law are as follows: to establish a monitoring system to check conditions of water pollution in public water bodies and to impose punishments if effluent standards are not observed. All industries, from primary to tertiary, are subject to regulations, and as a rule, all factories and enterprises must observe regulations. Authority is transferred to prefectural governors and mayors of administrative ordinance designated to deal with regional characteristics of water pollution problems. Public and municipal sewerage systems without final sewage treatment plant are regarded as public water bodies. Effluent standards are uniformly established by the government. However, if these standards are insufficient to control water pollution in specific water areas, prefectural governors may establish more stringent standards. This is called stringent add-on effluent standards. Mie Prefecture has been striving to control pollution since the start of petrochemical complex operation in the 1960s. In 1966, to deal with water pollution in Yokkaichi, the government designated the Yokkaichi-Suzuka water body an area to be covered by the Water Quality Preservation Law. In the following year, the Mie Prefectural Ordinance on Environmental Pollution Control was enacted to supplement the national law and control other than designated areas. In 1971, stringent add-on effluent standards were enacted in accordance with the Water Pollution Control Law. In 1974, Mie Prefecture became the first prefecture to promote of area-wide total pollutant load control for total COD. To achieve the area-wide total pollutant load control, starting in 1979, a constant monitoring system using telemetry was introduced to strengthen the monitoring system. Now, let's take a brief look at wastewater treatment technology used to control water pollution. Wastewater can be roughly divided into process and cooling water produced in the manufacturing plant and household wastewater, including kitchen wastewater. First, to treat waste process water, manufacturing process reorganization and integration are examined. Waste process water is treated by first dividing it into concentrated wastewater and dilute wastewater according to pollutant content. Economization of water utilization is also pursued through circulation and reuse of cooling and treated water and individual treatment of concentrated wastewater. The discharge pattern and quality of wastewater discharged from each facility are determined by analyzing the operating conditions of each facility producing wastewater. Wastewater system design is determined by monitoring the quantity of water discharged from each facility. Hourly changes in the volumes of substances contained in water, water quality, water quantity, and treatment conditions. Target water quality assessment comprises the following items: checking public water bodies in which wastewater is discharged and the effluent standard, checking the quantity and quality of water in public water bodies and purpose of use, Major uses of water are for drinking, agriculture, and fish farming. Also, when reutilizing effluent water, the range of water quality allowed by the user must be determined. Treatment systems are examined as to pollutants contained in the effluent water. Wastewater treatment methods are classified into physical and chemical, anaerobic, aerobic, and sludge treatment methods. The global environment is now subject to various types of environmental issues. Due to the insufficient development of social infrastructure, rapid urbanization, and the public's inattention to environmental problems, water pollution is deteriorating our environment. To protect the environment, it is necessary for all human beings to take responsibility, prevent environmental pollution, and aim at creating an environment-friendly society. In the past, laws and regulations for pollution control were established in Japan as retrospective relief measures after pollution occurred. Today, however, laws are not simply relief measures. Persistent efforts are underway to control pollution in advance so as to prevent damage. To preserve the global environment, Japan must make full use of its capabilities and take positive action towards international cooperation. We believe this to be the duty of a nation with advanced technology for environmental conservation.